Only crazy people see psychologists, right? Welcome and thank you so much for joining me for my very first video. Let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Wendy Rice and owner of the Rice Psychology Group. Here at the Rice Psychology Group, we work very hard to demystify mental health problems. We approach them with an air of acceptance rather than judgment, and we really want people who come to see us to understand that there are strategies and ways of coping that can help make problems a whole lot better. Have you ever heard anyone mention that they were in therapy because they were too ashamed or embarrassed for anybody to know? Well, we're going to let you in on a secret today. Normal people go to therapy with psychologists too. Isn't that a surprise? Okay, so by the end of this video, I hope that you won't think of therapy as something to be ashamed of or embarrassed about, and that you'll think to yourself if you hear that somebody went to therapy, oh, I wish I was lucky enough to have somebody to talk to too, because it's super helpful. So, newsflash, unlike pregnancy, where you either are or you aren't, mental health problems exist along a continuum, and most of us have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's not really an either-or kind of situation. Life doesn't come with a full-service manual, and sometimes seeing a psychologist can be one of the kindest gifts available. But not just any psychologist. You need to have one with a sense of humor, really good training, a sense of purpose, and of course, a very comfortable couch. Let's take ADHD, for example, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. 3 hallmarks are forgetfulness, disorganization, and trouble sitting still, or restlessness. Now, just having those 3 symptoms doesn't necessarily mean that you have ADHD. Having a few symptoms can be a little problem, but having many symptoms where it really affects your life can be a bigger problem. And it can cause a lot of distress. And so what I want you to understand is that ADHD, depression, anxiety, stress, anger management, relationship problems, even learning problems, they all exist along a continuum. And having just a few symptoms in any of those areas can cause a lot of problems for some people, even if they don't have enough symptoms to actually warrant a diagnosis being made. So, what happens in a psychologist's office? Well, if you're an adult, generally you come in and we talk. If it's a child, we talk, we play, we color, we draw, and sometimes we even read books. I am a coffee drinker and I eat a lot of snacks. There's always plenty to share. I have a Cocker Spaniel, so sometimes we talk about how much she sleeps and how loudly she snores. Oftentimes there's a little crying, but more often even there's laughter, because we both know that laughter is the best medicine. Along the way, while we're getting to know each other, we get a good understanding of the problem. Second, we decide whether we need to make a diagnosis or not, and if we do make a diagnosis, we learn about it together. This is a partnership at Rice Psychology Group all the way. Third, we try to figure out what the most immediate concerns are, figure out what factors in life are helping or hindering, and then we come up with our strategies for success, because ultimately that's why people come to see us. Most people leave the first appointment wishing that it could have gone on even longer than it did and wondering why they waited so long to come. So now what do you think? Do only crazy people see psychologists? No, of course not. And therapy is actually something you can be proud of because you were smart enough to know to get some help and find somebody fun to talk to. As I close, remember that most of us have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that mental health problems exist along a continuum. It's not an either-or situation. So when the going gets tough and you're wondering whether it's just a phase or a stage or something more, it's okay to pick up the phone and call a psychologist or call us at Rice Psychology Group and check it out. There are well-trained, relatively easy, relatively normal people out there to talk to. So give us a call, send us an email, let us know what you thought of this video, or if we might be able to help you or a loved one through some challenges. Our goal is to help demystify them and help you come up with some on-point and very doable strategies for success. So as I close, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate the time that you spent and that you had the patience to get all the way to the end with me. Thanks.